Hello, I'm Anne-Catherine, and today I'm going to talk to you about my all-time favorite called Féminité du Bois. If you would like to know more about why this perfume is so important to me and how I discovered it, just check my personal journey video on this channel. First, talk about Féminité du Bois. Féminité du Bois was first launched by Japanese brand Shiseido in 1992. It was under different formulations. This was the Eau de Parfum, the first version of it. And later on they also made Eau Timide, for example. And they also launched a body line for it. This is the body lotion. They also had a body cream and an extrait de parfum. Shiseido decided not to do the production of it anymore, and fortunately in 2010 Serge Lutens picked it up again and relaunched it for his own brand Serge Lutens. And now it's available in this Art Deco inspired beautiful bottle. It also has 4 siblings, 4 brothers and sisters, where I have one of, and this is called Bois Oriental. And I will talk about it later. You can buy it online at his store and also in the very, very beautiful store situated in Paris at the Salon du Palais Royal. So 1992 was a very, very important year for perfume history, because in the same year also Angel from Thierry Mugler and L'Odyssée by Issey Miyake were born. Those 2 perfumes have been really shocking in the beginning, in the first years, but afterwards they became bestsellers. And now there still are inspiration for a lot of new creations in a perfume industry, in the mainstream industry. Féminité du Bois never has been a crowd pleaser, I think. It didn't really have so much success on the market, but it still inspires a lot of perfume creators now, but more in the world of niche perfumery. Let's talk about the creator behind the perfume itself, Serge Lutens. Serge Lutens is not a perfume creator, but he's the designer. He invented it, and Serge Lutens for me is not an influencer or not even a trendsetter. For me he's really a visionary artist. He's an all-round artist. He started his career for Vogue, the lifestyle magazine, in 1963. And there he didn't only do the styling and the modeling of the models, but also he took the photographs of the models. Later on he was picked up by Christian Dior from 1967. He worked for Christian Dior, and Christian Dior asked him to design his first makeup line. I have a few advertisements of the beginning of the 80s, so I'm not sure if they really are designed by Serge Lutens themselves, but you can see that color plays a major role in these in this makeup line. I read about Serge Lutens that he talked about this period for designing for Christian Dior, that he introduced color in makeup. So that's very clear from those 2 advertisements. In 1980, Serge Lutens began to work for Shiseido. Shiseido was a Japanese brand, and at that time they wanted to conquer the world. They wanted to be on the European market as well. So Serge Lutens started to design their makeup line and have some advertisements of this period, of the beginning of the 80s. Those advertisements were really, really avant-garde. They were very modern, very stylized. He took the photographs of the models for these advertisements, and you can see his colors were really innovative. Those are also very beautiful, very elegant, graceful, and very modern looking, still modern looking. In 1968, Serge Lutens went to Marrakesh, and there he was struck by the beauty of all the colors, of the light, and also of the smells. And then he told about it later that Marrakesh produced his taste for fragrance. It wasn't until 1992 that Shiseido decided and asked him to create a perfume. So then Serge Lutens had the idea to create a cedarwood-based perfume for women. Until that time, there were lots of perfumes based on cedarwood, but they were always masculine. When Serge Lutens decided to create this perfume based on cedarwood, he found it important that the candidate perfume creators experience it also in the context where he had discovered it. So he invited the candidates to a hotel in Marrakesh, and there they could smell, they could experience cedarwood in blocks, also in pencil shavings and also in the sawdust. So really in the context in Marrakesh itself. They had to become inspired by it. So who did he choose? He chose Christopher Sheldrake, who became later his most important perfume creator. Most of his perfumes, apart from a few exceptions for the Serge Lutens line, are designed by Christopher Sheldrake. Christopher Sheldrake also was a creator of Coromandel for Chanel, for example, so he doesn't only work for Serge Lutens, but he's the main perfume creator of Serge Lutens. When the company Shiseido tested the first attempts of Féminité du Bois, they found it really awkward and they didn't really believe in it, because it was so revolutionary, of course. And then they decided to, at the end, to also invite Pierre Bourdon to make it a bit more crowd-pleasing, because Pierre Bourdon was the creator of bestsellers like Cool Water and Kouros and also Green Irish Tweed. So that's why at the end they invited Pierre Bourdon to finish the formula. Let's talk about the perfume itself now. Féminité du Bois is made around cedarwood. Cedarwood has a main role in this perfume, but it's made more feminine by Moroccan spices like cinnamon, clove. Also, it has vanilla in it. There's a sweetening note in it. The sweetening notes are made by the fruity notes as well, so you can also detect plum and peach and also orange is in it. It has also a flowery base made of orange blossom and rose, but that for me is not really detectable. It also has violet candy in it. I call it violet candy and not really the violet flowers, because it really has a confectionery part of it. Probably you know those sweets. I also like them a lot. So I think Serge Lutens has really succeeded in his attempt to make the feminine version of a masculine-based perfume based on cedarwood. And to me, it gives me the sense of complete freedom. I feel like I can be myself and I can conquer the world. It really has that effect on me. And I read about Serge Lutens when he was starting to create perfumes that this was really his goal, to make people feel like they can be themselves. And for me, he has succeeded in his goal. About reformulations of Shiseido, of course, you can expect that it has had a lot of reformulations because it was made in 1992. People complain about the version now made for Serge Lutens, that it doesn't compare to the original version of Shiseido, but well, to me it has lost a bit of its complexity, but it's still really a stunning perfume. Fortunately for people who are longing for the original Féminité du Bois, like it was launched for Shiseido, they can still go to the brothers and sisters Serge Lutens and Christopher Sheldrake have designed in 1992. So then they decided to pick up some notes and make them the dominant ones, to put them on the forefront. And so he also designed Bois de Violette, Bois Oriental, which I have myself, Bois et Musc, and Bois et Fruits. They're also really amazing, and according to people who complain about the formulation it has now, they say that those are much closer to the original version. So what I also wanted to stress is that if heaven is a place on earth, for me it's really the Salon du Palais Royal, the shop, the store of Serge Lutens there. You really have to go there if you go to Paris. It's so beautiful. For me it's like a temple. It was built in 1992, the year it was launched, and then it only had the Féminité du Bois and also the 4 other brothers and sisters who were available only in that store. They still are only available there, but you can also buy them online. This shop is so beautiful. The walls are decorated with hand-painted motifs inspired by Pompeian Roman style, and also Art Deco is playing a major role in it. You also have a small room entirely decorated on the walls by Moroccan ornaments, of course in cedarwood. So if you go in this small room, you bathe in the smell of cedarwood. It's really wonderful. If we talk about the sillage and the projection of Féminité du Bois, it's rather moderate. So if I wear it, I always spray it around my hair to enjoy it the most. And the longevity is about 3 to 4 hours. Of course, the Bois Oriental stays a little longer than the Eau de Parfum Féminité du Bois. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you also are fond of Féminité du Bois, would like to know what it is doing with you, and also if you have a holy grail, an all-time favorite, how you discovered it and what it is. And in the next video I'm going to talk about the perfumes inspired by Féminité du Bois. So see you next time. And godverdomme. To once in his lifetime. Godverdomme, wat voor een zever is dat? To make, to ask, godverdomme! And some dust. Godverdomme. Dus opnieuw. He do. He godverdomme. Oké, nog eens opnieuw. Based on cedarwood. En dus godverdomme. En very first version of godverdomme